Throughout the ages, the human story has been one of oscillation between peace and turbulence, order and chaos, life and death. Such tumultuous events as warfare, plagues, and natural calamities have been woven into our collective tapestry, birthing epics marred by unimaginable suffering and the extinguishing of lives. It's in these crucibles of distress that the philosophies of the ancient Stoics were conceived and nurtured. In these tumultuous seasons, where tomorrow's certainty is blurred by the fog of the unknown, we find ourselves grappling with the terrifying possibility of our lives, once stable and comfortable, unraveling. This fear, however, is not unfounded. In many cases, it's a grim reality, a momentous shift sculpted by the unrelenting hands of misfortune, leading to unknown destinations and fostering an atmosphere of anxiety. The Stoic philosophers, guided by their wisdom, offered some remarkable insights into confronting and overcoming external circumstances. They explored how we could find tranquility amidst turbulence, nurture hope in the belly of despair, and stand resiliently in the face of an uncertain future. Living in an era where conspicuous consumption is championed and corporations manipulate our desires, convincing us that their products are prerequisites for wholeness and fulfillment, discerning between what is essential and what is dispensable has become a daunting task. In affluent societies, the question of basic needs is often overlooked because their satisfaction is almost guaranteed. However, when the storm clouds of adversity gather, we are compelled to seek clarity, redefine our priorities, and arm ourselves with the tools to navigate uncertainty. First, we must understand and internalize the Stoic concept of the dichotomy of control. This is the fundamental principle that asserts that the only realm we truly command is our actions. As Epictetus the sage would remind us, things such as our bodies, possessions, and reputations are beyond our direct control. When we face economic downturns, for instance, our hands are tied. The possibility of financial losses in the stock market, job redundancies, and hence a dip in income, is real. However, from a Stoic lens, attaching our happiness and sense of self-worth to these mutable external factors sets us on a path towards inevitable disappointment. Epictetus eloquently phrased this sentiment, stating, "The things in our control are by nature free, unrestrained, unhindered, but those not in our control are weak, slavish, restrained, belonging to others." Remember, then, that if you suppose that things which are slavish by nature are also free, and that what belongs to others is your own, then you will be hindered. The beauty of this perspective lies in its liberating power, teaching us to anchor our happiness in the things we can control and letting go of the anxiety tied to those we cannot. Delving into the heart of Stoicism, we find a critical distinction drawn among three concepts: virtue, vice, and what are known as indifferents. Virtue and vice are qualities intrinsic to our actions and choices. To illustrate, if one elects to uplift the community by offering sustenance to the underprivileged or the elderly, such an act is deemed virtuous. Conversely, capitalizing on necessities by selling them at inflated prices is a vice, an affront to the dignity of human compassion and fairness. Indifferents, however, are unlike virtue and vice. They inhabit a middle ground, immune to the polarizing labels of good or evil. These are the elements that populate our existence but remain beyond our direct influence: wealth, health, disease, strength, poverty. They are circumstances external to us, indifferent to our plight, oblivious to our desires or fears. So why does this Stoic perspective bear such weight in our understanding of life, particularly during turbulent times? Because it invites us to recognize that while the indifference in our lives may be under threat, our capacity for action, our ability to choose virtue over vice, remains unscathed. Does this imply that we should disengage from these external circumstances, ignore them altogether? Not quite. Some of these indifferents are vital for our basic survival, food, shelter, and such. But when the shadows of challenging times loom large, it behooves us to reevaluate our genuine necessities. We must question the degree of our attachment to luxury goods when teetering on the brink of economic downfall. We must assess the true value of social status when confronted with a rampant illness that remains indifferent to the divide between the rich and the poor. The degree of our anguish at the prospect of losing these externals is proportional to the strength of our attachment to them. The profound truth is that one can find contentment and happiness independent of these external entities. Another cornerstone of Stoic wisdom lies in its acceptance of death and suffering. It might come across as stark, yet it's a simple reflection of the inherent nature of existence. In the contemporary Western narrative, death is often viewed through a lens of negativity, a tragic conclusion to be dodged and postponed indefinitely. Comfort and convenience have cushioned our lives to a point where pain and suffering are minimized, almost dismissed. But in the throes of hardship, we may need to confront an uncomfortable fact. No creature, human or otherwise, is inherently entitled to a life of longevity and health. The narrative of our planet is one punctuated by death and loss. Every day, creatures perish at the hands of others. Newborns succumb to the fragility of existence, and calamities like the Black Death can decimate populations. Why should we, the humans of the modern era, be exempt from the natural courses of life and death? Memento mori, the Stoic precept which translates as "remember you must die," encourages us to be mindful of the inevitability of death and the omnipresence of suffering. By acknowledging these truths, we may discover serenity in the notion that the direst possibilities that can befall us are in fact quite ordinary aspects of the natural order. Consider the calmness with which philosophers like Socrates and Seneca greeted their own mortality. Seneca, in particular, found solace in death, offering us this insight. Death is a release from and an end of all pains. Beyond it, our sufferings cannot extend. It restores us to the peaceful rest in which we lay before we were born. If anyone pities the dead, he ought also to pity those who have not been born. It is a call to consider death not as an end, but as a return to the peace preceding birth, a perspective that can provide comfort in the most challenging of times. A profound teaching from the ancient philosophy of Stoicism that could provide us tranquility amidst turbulence is the conscious realization that we do not fully command our destiny. Although we can wield some influence over our future through our actions in the present, the fruition of these efforts largely relies upon external factors so multifaceted and intertwined that it becomes an impossibility to assure a predetermined outcome. The unpredictability of life could, without forewarning, steer our existence towards unexpected pathways. The once stable economy may crumble into ruins, our secure jobs might dissipate into the ether, widespread impoverishment may grip the masses, and even the specter of mortality may loom larger, claiming multitudes. And yet, despite our deepest fears, no amount of worry can rewrite this course. It begs the question then, why not relinquish the heavy burden of future's uncertainty, accepting that whatever the universe may conspire, we retain the dominion over the most formidable instrument at our disposal, our mental and emotional faculties. If we possess the resilience to confront the finality of death, surely we can summon the same fortitude to navigate the uncharted waters of life. Encouragingly, this cosmic drama unfolds amidst a backdrop of perpetual flux, where all phenomena are birthed and defined through a ceaseless dance of change. The seamless transitions from day to night and autumn to spring serve as gentle reminders that all things are transient. This too, whatever this moment's challenge, shall eventually recede into the annals of time. Human history bears testament to the indomitable spirit of individuals who have persevered through the darkest of epochs, only to emerge on the other side tempered, humbler, kinder, and brimming with an amplified appreciation for the gift of existence. Hence, every outcome, no matter how seemingly disastrous, harbors a silver lining. Regardless of the impending vicissitudes that the future may unfurl, the power to glean the best from any situation forever remains within your grasp. I appreciate your dedication to this journey of philosophical exploration. Thank you for your time and attention.